Welcome back, everybody. This is Evan Irwin on July 3rd, 2006, and I have just taken the wheat from the chaff, as it were, from a Ravnica sealed deck made with Magic Workstation, and I have it currently laid out here just as I finished my last recording. And what I decided on was to run red, white, black. That gives me Argus Cause, that gives me Mortify, that gives me Skynet Legionnaire, it gives me Thundersong Trumpeter, for example, and we're splashing green for stuff like Supply and Demand, which is incredible. Pollen Bright Wings. There are more powerful splashes to be used here than instead of blue, which would give us both Twisted Justice and Psychic Drain, which is amazing, but not powerful enough. So we're going to take our black-blue cards, and we get to play with Wrecking Ball, which is awesome. And so we're going to take our black-blue, put them up here. We're going to take our blue cards, which does include Followed Footsteps, one of our bombs, but not important enough to splash for. Sometimes you really do just have to let the good bombs go, particularly if they're double casting cost color, which is blue-blue in this case. With our signets, we are not playing main blue or green, so we're going to get rid of the Cynic. However, we are playing black, and that'll give us a green splash. We're playing red, that'll give us a green splash. And we're playing red-black, and we're playing red-green for the splash, which this is fantastic. Fantastic mana base start now. So we're going to look at our black cards, and we've already, cut the wheat, as it were. And we've got Austere Thrall, which goes along with our white, which is fantastic. In our green, we're only going to keep the best of the best, and I don't believe that any of these creatures beyond Dowsing Shaman is even worth thinking about. So we're just going to get rid of all of those. And we're going to see what sort of gold cards we have left here. We have Pollen Bright Wings. We're not going to splash for the Guardian. He's okay, but he's not great here. Gaze is another great little combat trick. We have very few in this deck, so we'll try to keep it in. Supply and Demand is obviously amazing. Pillory is incredible. And Thundersong Trumpeter is definitely worth playing. So we have all of our red-white cards here, if it would let me show them correctly. And we're going to get rid of Squilling Devil, because well, no, that's not necessarily true. We are playing black, aren't we? So we're going to keep Squilling Devil. We're going to basically lay this out in converted mana cost. That's the way I like to look at mine, wave them in real life. When I'm looking at cards, I want to put them in converted mana cost so I can get an ability to see how heavy or how light my current mana threshold is. My mana base, what does it look like? How many do I have in here? If you have something that's too top heavy, too many expensive cards, it can drag you down and cause your sealed basically to just, you'll keep losing with a handful of fantastic but expensive cards. So at this point I expect to be cutting quite a bit, but we're going to lay out what we have and see what we can keep. Galvanic Arc, there's some things that are just sort of, absolute, you're never going to get rid of them. Galvanic Arc, Seal of Doom, cards like that, but there's others that are going to cause debate that you're going to be unsure about, and so this process is going to try to get us to figure out what those cards may be. Now I'm going to get rid of Soulsworn Jury because we're not playing blue, and a 1/4 defender for 3 mana is not worth messing with, particularly in a build as strong as this one. So we're currently separating these out. You got Barbarian Rift Cutter, which is awesome. Oathsworn Giant and Conclave Equinaut have the same converted mana cost and are incredible. You have Wrecking Ball, which is trying to fit in here somewhere in our 4 mana slot, which seems to be quite clogged, and that's quite normal. There are a lot of great 4-drops, it seems to be, in Ravnica. We got Pollen Bright Wings, which is just incredible. That card can just win games all by itself. You got Argus Cause, who is just incredible with a few guys out. Skynet Legionnaire, which is a flyer and hasty, never a bad thing. Not when I want to play the Pillory on the Skynet Legionnaire. And we got Supply and Demand. People sometimes put these in the 2-drop or 3-drop over here in the middle of nowhere. I put it in the 2-drop. That's just me. I'm going to put Mortify over here and Gaze of the Gorgon. And so at this point we have separated out, and look at that. Whoa, that big huge little wave there. The idea is that you're probably going to ramp up to 3 and then go down into 4, 5, and 6, and so on. So we're going to count here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28 cards in limited. You're normally wanting at least 13 to 14 creatures. You want anywhere between 23 and 24 cards for your main deck. Back in Mirrodin, I went down to 25 and ran 15 lands. That was due to the affinity mechanic and the mana skewing that occurred from that. But normally you're going for 17 lands, 23 spells. You want to make sure you have plenty of creatures. You want to make sure you have creatures early. You don't want to cut everything that's too small, because 2 drops are incredibly important in the tempo of the game. So what we're going to look for now is cards that may not be quite as powerful on their own, or may not be as wide-reaching as we'd like them to be, particularly as we want to get signets in here. So we have a total of 28 cards. We're going to need to cut at least 5 of them, and I would like to cut probably 6 of them to make room for signets, and then we'll have 16 lands, including 2 Karus, which is fantastic. So we're going to go through step by step. Thought Picker Witch, we don't have a great number of creatures. We have no token producers. We have no creatures we'd love to just get rid of. No creatures that have abilities that when they go to the graveyard, such as Protean Hulk, such and such. So we're going to get rid of her. Torpid Morlock, still a fan of this guy, so we're going to see if he makes it through. Thundersong Trumpeter is kind of a hard creature to hit mana-wise. We don't have any signets that would power him out. We'd basically have to raw dog a plains and a mountain or a red source and to get him out there, so he's an iffy. He's a maybe. Spinlunkers are okay. Smash, I'm going to get rid of that because it's a little narrow, particularly in, you're looking at Mortify and Pillory of the Sleepless versus Smash. It's not a real contest here. I like Strands of Undeath, just so we can keep track of how many we cut here. We're at 28, we're at 26 right now. And let's see, Order Run Commando, between him and the Gatecrasher, I think I'd rather have the Order Run because we're running heavy white, which means we should have enough mana to make Order Run be extremely powerful. So I'm going to cut the Gatecrasher, so that's 3 total that we've cut here. Even Order Run may get cut if we keep on here. Gaze of the Gorgon is kind of limited, and particularly we have so much removal as it is. Mortify, Pillory, Wrecking Ball. Do we really need Gaze of the Gorgon? I'm not really sure. Barbarian Rift Cutter, he's a narrow little guy who I'm not a huge fan of. So, I mean, he definitely has his bonuses and his strengths, as I mentioned when I kept him. But when you're going to brass tacks, when you're going to final deck list, you got to think about how important is it to have that ability versus what other creatures you're running, such as Argus Cause and Conclave Equinaut and so on and so forth. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards cut. A card I'm looking at right now is Pollen Bright Wings, but wow, does that card just absolutely break games wide open. You know what? I think the Thundersong Trumpeter may be the best cut here, but at the same time, a very expensive card that may be hard to cast and may be hard to get out amongst your guys. Kind of looks like the right play here. Again, I'm not amazingly comfortable with this. The most important green card to play is supply and demand. So if Pollen Bright Wings are left behind, I'm okay with that. We don't have a lot of huge number of beat sticks in the deck, as it were. So with that cut, that would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards cut. That gives us 22 cards. We have 0 signets in there right now, so if we add +2 signets, that'll give us 24 cards plus 16 lands equals a 40 card sealed deck. Alright. So what we need to do now is basically math our mana, and we'll do that next time. Thank you for watching.